Well, here we are at the Delta Flight Museum in Atlanta, and once again, the site for Brain Camp, this one being Brain Camp 3. And as we expect the largest turnout ever for this event, we're delighted to think about how we're going to be dealing with new issues here today, talking about gun violence and how to stop it, and also looking at cybersecurity and safety, along with fighting human trafficking. And our number one goal, to involve kids of all ages so that they can become advocates for safety.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Father Ricardo Bailey, and I am the head chaplain of Holy Innocents Episcopal School in Sandy Springs, as well as the vicar of the Episcopal Chapel at the Mayor's House down in Southwest Atlanta. I've been asked to come here to kind of kick off our third annual Brain Camp here today. Let's give it up for Brain Camp, y'all. What makes Brain Camp effective as well as relevant is all of you being here. I see parents and grandparents and teachers and counselors, but I see a lot of young people. And I want you all to do me a favor, to try to enter in to every experience, every speaker, and every talk there is. There is a great program planned for each and every one of you. I want to be in the business of preserving life. I want to be in a position and in the business of making sure that each and every one of you is safe. And the best way for us to do that is to make sure and make certain that we use the good gifts that Almighty God has given us, so that the decisions that we make and all the things that we do in the world will truly be for not only our benefit, but also for the good of those around us. Now let me introduce you all to our MC for today, Mr. Mark Woody from Channel 2 Action News.
Morning, everybody. Yeah, I am Mark Woody from Channel 2 Action News, and you know, most of the time, my job is to dig into trouble, right? But I feel very blessed today, Pastor, because I'm able to be part of a good news story. Okay, finding solutions. So they got an exciting program planned today. Yes, sir. What's your name?
My name is Amir Anderson.
And why are you here?
I'm here to learn how to make greater choices in middle school.
Boom! That's great. We're going to get started with the program, but real quickly, Len, I would like you to come up and say a few words about why you're doing this.
But I do want to call upon the various named sponsors. You see Channel 2, Wellstar, Allstate, and Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport. Let's give those folks a thanks for their being a sponsor of Brain Camp 3. You know, Mark said that we want to do some real good here, and I think that part of what we're trying to do here today relates to using your brain. You know, a brain is a muscle, Everything you do, you put your brain to work, one way or the other, right? Whether we use coffee and caffeine to get ourselves started in the morning, or whether we exercise, somehow we're waking our brain up. And part of what we want to do here today is to prove to all of us, whether you're a teenager, middle schooler, or an adult, that everything you do each day can change the way your brain functions. And I want to point out that today Brain Camp has a lot of good individuals that are going to be speaking to you. And in this little PowerPoint, I'm going to call attention to a few of the people that I'm most honored that are here, that are trying to share their insights and their brain power with you. And the whole goal here is how to have a good life, isn't it? How to have a meaningful life. Well, let me point out, here's an example of someone who's put his brain to work. We'll have here today Captain Jason Innes, who flies for Delta Airlines. Pilots are exciting because they get to do important work, they make good money, and part of what we wanted to do in Brain Camp today is to inspire those of you that have thought about aviation, that you should think about it as a potential career, and take the kind of effort now in school to get yourselves to be a Jason Innes, to be able to be a pilot. Another person you might be interested in getting to know better is Dr. Steve Kane. Steve is chairman of orthopedic surgery at Wellstar Atlanta Medical Center, one of our sponsors. But he can tell you how exciting it is to be involved in sports medicine. It's another great career path, another great way to use your brain. So for those of you hearing him today, he's going to be talking about sports safety, which is important. But what's important is using your brain and having the enjoyment of taking the brain power that's up here and doing something meaningful. Another person I'm looking forward to introducing you to is Sean Murray, who's an entrepreneur and founder of a program called Safe Stuff. Now notice her hat. She gave me one before the show here started, Mark. Stop Gun Violence. She's here to talk about that as an issue. She's bringing safety to another dimension. We all care about lives. We all care about living. But having the ability to take on this issue of stopping gun violence is wonderful, and we're proud to be a partner with you. Other people you're going to meet today, Jeff Turner, who was a former police chief turned successful politician. Many of you in this part of Atlanta know he is the chairman of the Clayton County Commission. He's also vice chairman of the Safe America Foundation Board. And he's a wonderful leader who can tell you exactly why he did what he did to get to where he is today. And I think what you'll hear is he made a lot of tough decisions. He used his brain in ways that maybe he hadn't anticipated when he was 10, 12, 14 years of age. But he's made those decisions and succeeded from it. And another gentleman will be here today, Tim McVeigh, who runs WSB-TV. And Tim is another example of a person who put their brain to work and protected himself when he was driving. He can tell you stories of situations where he came close to an incident, an accident. But the bottom line in all of this is they incorporated safety as well as using their brain. There are other good people here. Two members of our Safe America team, my wife Mary Lou Pagano, who was trained as a registered nurse and went from that career to being an executive at Safe America. Mel Dowdell, who is our AV specialist, who's here today, who's developed a smart app that you're going to hear about. And in all of this, what we're trying to do is kind of let you folks know that we're here today to mentor you and help you use your brain. So all the people you go around and see at different areas of exhibits, like Jenny Glasgow talking about railroad safety, they're here for the reason they want to help you. They want to give you some learning lessons and maybe inspire you to a career you haven't thought about. And we're going to also be showing new protective device for those athletes here at our Safe America table. We're going to show this new skull cap, which is developed and has in it some gel that keeps your brain protected in case you put this hat that you see on underneath a football helmet or a baseball batting helmet. And it's already been used by people like Peyton Manning to protect people. These different items below, which are protective gear, posture shirts, and other things that you can be using that will protect you. And those are things that we're going to be showcasing at table 32 today for you. So the question we're trying to pose with you today, and the real takeaways are set some goals in using your brain, Use BrainCamp today to do that. Discover tools that are available with all the different exhibits, all the people here today. See what you can learn that you haven't thought about before. And finally, don't forget the rules of the game, how to protect yourself. And when we talk about protecting yourself, the key word that I would reference in Safe America is the word safe or safety. There are times, whether it's in your car, you should buckle up. There are times when you're on the internet that you need to protect yourself from hackers. There are times when you need to be aware of things called human trafficking and how it's now an issue in our region. Well, all these things, we're going to have different speakers that will be here today to talk about these things. And our end game is for you to take away some things that you're going to do differently, that you'll focus on and use your brain for. So I see a lot of parents here today. It doesn't matter our age, does it? Some of these things we're going to learn because we're here with our young people. And I hope that adults as well as young people will take away some new ideas. We at Safe America are happy to work with you. We're here located in Atlanta. And if there's something you want to do with us, if there's some lessons we can help teach at your school, your church, anywhere in the area, know that our goal as a nonprofit is to help you protect other people. Sean, we're glad to have you here today.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Tell me a little bit about what you're doing and what motivated you.
Sure. Well, I have a company called Stop Stuff, which is all about stopping gun violence, right? Stop killing people. And it's very inclusive rather than exclusive. Stop killing all people, so you really don't have to define black lives, white lives, blue lives. It includes everybody. And in terms of my personal story, I'm a 9/11 survivor, so I understand what it means to experience extreme violence, and I watched the second plane hit the building. I watched people swan dive off the World Trade Center, kind of ran for my life the entire day, was with a 16-year-old when one of the towers went down that her mother was in, and that kind of experience is something that stays with you. And I certainly had PTSD for the next couple of years, and people saying, you need to just get over it, and that's not something that you just get over. And then in addition to that, one of the advisory board members on my company is Jerry Levin. Jerry Levin was the CEO of Time Warner, and he's the guy who created media as we know it today, from HBO boxing to the Madonna book and everything else. And while he was CEO of Time Warner, his son was a school teacher and he was shot in the head. And my experience through getting to know Jerry is understanding that when you lose a child to gun violence, your life changes forever and there's no recovery from it. It's not something that gets better from day to day. It's something that stays with you and that you have to, live with. And I made a commitment to Jerry and to myself that I would do something to stop gun violence, and that's exactly what I'm doing. So I go, city to city. I've created what's the first ever brand created to attack gun violence. It's kind of like the Tom Shoes for nonviolence is sort of the best way to understand it. And the purpose is twofold. One, it's to raise as much awareness as possible about organizations and people who are really fighting the fight, because there are people all over the country that are actually fighting against gun violence, and then providing those people and those organizations with the resources that they need to continue to do what they're doing.
What do you think of the idea of Safe America's Black, Blue, and You conference?
Yeah, I think it's extremely important, relevant, pertinent. We just had this past week 2 officers that were executed in Iowa. Again, kind of going back to the stop gun violence, I've spoken to police officers directly. If I live in LA and if I see LAPD, I always have the hat on. I ask them what they think about it, and they immediately say, we love it because it says stop gun violence. So, the issues around gun violence, like I say, they affect all of us, and I think we need to recognize that we are in partnership with police officers. And we're in partnership, by the way, even with gang members and with anybody with people who have guns. Guns are not the issue. It's the people who have the guns that are doing the shooting that's the issue. And I think it's important that we respect each other, and certainly Black, Blue, and You does that. It's about the concept of a community working together to solve a problem, and that's really important. So I love what you guys are doing with that.
Do you think that our dialogue would be useful in other parts of the country?
Oh, 100%. I think it's important to bring, again, the community together. One of the things that I've been learning myself through this process and learning the different organizations that are out there fighting is that you have, in Chicago, there are a couple of organizations where you have literally people who are ex-cons, ex-gang members, people who are drug dealers, murderers, and they're actually now back in their own community saying to people, don't do what I did, right? So it takes, as they say, it takes a village, and the police are part of that village. And I think that when you're a police officer, you've committed to serve your community. That's a huge risk, and you've actually devoted your life to serving your community. And that deserves and requires a great deal of respect. And I think that police officers want to interact with the community to stop violence before it happens. And that's what this conversation is about.
We're happy to have you here today, and I think that if I were to add my own support to yours, I'll just do this. I'll find a way to put this hat on here and maybe show our support for your effort here.
Yeah.
There we go.
That's excellent.
We're both behind stopping gun violence.
That's
so
right.
Thanks for being here with us today.
Thank you, Lynn. Appreciate it.
Well, we're with Adam Pollock from our good sponsor, Allstate. Adam, glad to have you here today.
We're delighted to be here. Thank you so much. What a wonderful event. It's so great to get all these young men and women out here being able to learn how to take some great safety messages back to their peers.
And what do you think of the message that they're going to take away about driving?
I think it's incredibly important. When we see fatalities raising across the country, but particularly here in Georgia for the first time after years of decline, more important than ever to give these kids the skills they need to stay safe on the roads.
Of course, we brought a number of other topics up here today: fighting human trafficking, being safe on the internet, sports safety, brain traumas. Again, this is kind of an overall safety fair, isn't it?
It is, and it's just great because, the roads are important, but there's an awful lot of other ways that people can get hurt, and we're really proud to be a part of this and bringing great information to these kids.
Chief, it's great to see you today, and I know we've had such good conversations lately. How do you feel about our relationship?
Well, first off, it's great to be here, and I think we have a great relationship. I think that what you're doing and what we are attempting to do, not only at Clayton County, but in law enforcement in general, has a very, very good positive impact on the community and the children. And I am very happy to be part of that.
Well, thank you. As we look forward to 2017, are there some other areas you think we should try to work in?
Well, just based on our conversations, I think you are on the right track. I think you have a lot of vision in what you're doing with Safe America. I know you're moving into the human trafficking portion of it, and I think that is timely, and I think is great. And anything that we can do to impact our young people, and I know you and I have also discussed some ideas about how we can do counter-gang initiatives, and I look forward to further conversations about that. And I am so happy with what I'm seeing here today, and I'm happy with the direction you're taking your program.
You know, the conversation today includes this dialogue with Chairman Turner on Black, Blue, and You, and that all lives matter. We've already heard some positive feedback from others, but what's your take? Do you think this is going to be a good dialogue and should be maybe replicated in the future?
I think anytime we have an opportunity to talk with the community, the young people, the adults, I think that's a good thing, because communication helps us gain understanding, not only attempting to get them to understand law enforcement more, but for law enforcement actually to hear what they are saying and listen to the dialogue ourselves and try to understand the perception they have of law enforcement. And we take that information, we take those discussions, and we go back and we try to use it to build a stronger partnership and a stronger unity between law enforcement and the community.
You know, I think there's so many good things happening on the south side. Do you think its image is now starting to change, and maybe that's something that will continue to improve?
I do. I think that, and of course I'm a little biased, but I can truthfully say that I'm very proud to be part of what's happening on the south side of Atlanta, especially in Clayton County, with all the initiatives that we are doing to improve the safety and quality of life for our citizens, and also the partnerships that we have been able to be part of, such as yourself with Safe America.
Jeff, here we are, year 3 of doing this brain camp here at Delta. What are your thoughts today?
Well, day 3 or year 3, great event. The kids are out in full force. Have to give kudos and thanks to our Clayton County Public School System and Superintendent Lavinia Jackson for making it happen. You know, a lot of good information is going to be disseminated here today. They're going to learn a lot, and my desire, my hope, my wish is that they retain it and that they share it, because there's too many things going on in this world for them not to have the information that we have to offer here today.
You think we're going to be saving lives or extending lives through this kind of brain power?
Absolutely, it's a no-brainer. The information is excellent. The interaction, the things that we do for this brain camp will actually open eyes. And the beautiful thing about it is it will not only open the eyes of the kids, but a lot of the parents who are here with their children will be enlightened to a lot of things that they need to know as well.
A lot of people are impressed and have already said maybe we should be doing the same event in other cities like Chicago and Philadelphia.
I would agree. The more information that we put in our young people's hands and in their minds that will engage their brains to make the right decision is valuable.
You know, you look at next year, we've already been talking about doing things, you know, to enhance the South Side, but also all Metro Atlanta. And I think the leadership from the South Side now is being seen as leadership for all of Metro Atlanta. Does that make you proud? Absolutely.
I'm proud that we have started the Brain Camp initiative here in Clayton County at this location. The Delta Airline Museum is an excellent location and a venue to host such an event. And, you know, it only makes sense for us to continue to spread this initiative around the Metro Atlanta area, throughout the state, and throughout the country.
And as we talk about other issues that we're going to focus on next year, what kind of issues do you think we should also focus on?
Well, you never know what's going to happen tomorrow, but I think the main thing that we need to do is make sure that we focus on social issues that are relevant for the time. So whatever is going on at that time, I think we should pick up that cause and we should confront it and try to provide as much information dealing with that as possible.
And of course, engaging young people too is another agenda that we should probably address.
Absolutely. Young people are what's going to make us a great country, a great state tomorrow. We got to make sure that they are making the right decisions in life. We got to make sure that we put as much into their head as possible to make sure that they are around, that they live for tomorrow and not just for the moment.
Joanne, we've been proud to work with you on human trafficking over the last 6 or 8 months. As you look forward on this issue, first of all, why are you so committed to it, and what do you think needs to be done?
With the police department, there's nothing more important than protecting our children. So 20 years I've been in this job, 20 years we've been doing this fight, most recently with human trafficking. And together I believe that working with the community and everybody, all the groups, I really think that we can make a difference.
Do you think being a woman makes this issue a little bit more impactful on you?
I don't know if the sex has anything to do with it, but I know that it tears at your heart, whether you're a woman or a man. So I know that men are deeply affected. You have Fathers Against Child Exploitation groups. But I know that the fight, I don't know if it's a woman intuition, but definitely it's in me 20 years later.
You know, Safe America is talking about trying to put a exposition, or if you will, have a permanent display staffed at Hartsfield-Jackson Airport. Do you think that's a good idea?
I think it's a great idea. We have thousands and thousands of people that come through our airport every day, and for that to be one of the first things that they see, it can't get any better for awareness.
You're interested or willing to maybe be a part of the staffing there?
Oh, absolutely. Our chief of police is absolutely on board with Safe America.
Stacy, as you look at the same issue, what are your observations and thoughts?
My observation is that I noticed that there's an increase in the number of females that are being used, trafficking for sex and things of that nature. And I realized that over my 20-year career that this thing has progressed as technology has progressed. So we're combating not only the fight against human trafficking and sex trafficking, but the ability of these people to use technology to go and get these young girls and exploit them.
Is this issue, and a lot of people may not really be aware of how local this issue is.
It is very local. I mean, we look at Atlanta as a big hub. It's a transportation hub. We have the biggest airport in the world as it functions. We have major interstates coming through this city. We have bus terminals, train terminals, anything you want in terms of transportation, we have. We have a sex industry here. We have movie industry. We have all kind of industries that bring a lot of people here to the Atlanta area that can use these avenues to exploit these young girls.
Do you think we're making any progress?
We're making real progress. We're using organizations like GBI, FBI, Task Force. We're doing undercover stings. We're doing things of that nature that put a dent. We still have a long ways to go, but we're using our technology to combat these issues and try to save these young ladies. Incidentally, we just saved one this week out of sex trafficking. So we're making headway.
And how did that happen?
She was a runaway, and it was on one of our radars. So we went and tracked her down and found out that she was being trafficked. And we're in the process now trying to run down the guy who was actually her pimp, if you will. So we're working hard trying to get him.
Are the people that are being victimized, are they all both genders and black and white, or is there any predominance of one group?
The predominance is female, although we do have some males. The male victims are low, but the females are high. There's a lot of black and Hispanic females that are being exploited from the data that we use from the FBI and from the GBI to support these demographics. I think we're doing a really good job. I want to thank you and thank everything you're doing here, and I really appreciate the opportunity to give me to come and provide my expertise and experience.
So we have Patrick Phillips, author and public speaker here at the Brain Camp 2016. Patrick, what was your message to the kids?
Good morning. Thank you for having me. The message today was goal setting and trying to reach your full potential. What we wanted to talk about today was the fact that no matter what's going on in your life right now, you can always change your situation because your future outcomes are not dictated by what's going on in your life right now if you choose not to let it. But there's a couple things you need to do. You need to have some goals. You can't just have dreams because, dreams without goals are just like wishes and hopes, and we don't want those type of things. So we talked about goal setting and reaching self-actualization and not allowing your current situation to dictate your future outcomes.
Where can we reach you?
Oh, definitely. My website is www.mrphillipstthechangeagent.com. I'm also on YouTube at mrphillipstthechangeagent.com, and my book's also on Amazon as well.
Hi,
Hi, I'm Gabrielle Starr, author and mentor and also inspirational speaker. Today, I had the awesome opportunity to be a speaker at the 3rd annual Brain Camp hosted by Safe America. This has been a phenomenal day. My message was basically to help our young people understand the importance of dreams and goals and being able to set priority and not just looking at everything as important, but looking at their priority and what they need to do. And also having a mindset shift and just understanding that they can, if they can see it, they can believe it, and they can become it. So I'm really excited about it. Thank you for having me. For more information about what I'm doing and the different opportunities, please go to my website, MissGabrielleStarr.com, and also follow my nonprofit organization, Ladies of Favor Incorporated, mentoring and empowerment at LadiesOfFavor.com. Thank you.